the top either.
Me.
So, yeah, so if you have trouble, move your magnets.
I've noticed that sometimes I have to take my papers off of them and off the board. They don't.
Anyhow.
All right, so
I
maybe
think about
users
magnets.
don't use magnets and maybe not papers on your board. So I don't know, the kind of, I was planning on doing more of the interactive steps, depending on what you want me to go over.
Well, I want to be able to do maybe some game, I want to do some type of game things to put on the board.
Okay.
Something fun that the kids can do, because, about as much as they do is get the pen and we draw on the board.
Okay. So you want them to kind of be able to kind of do kind of interactive
Yeah.
things where they come up and not so much like do this, where you can kind of pull things, have things hidden and kind of come to be. But this is a way you can kind of do learning targets. And what this is that there's something here. I have an object that's right. Oops, let me unlock.
Like a white square or a thing?
Yep, I have, let's see, I have this kind of
okay.
square that's actually over here where these things are kind of hidden behind it.
So you send them to the back?
Yep, and that's all. And this here is actually a group of two things. I have the words, and then this is an image I pulled from the gallery. And so I can group those together, and then with it being one,
I see.
I can actually get this aligned. My board is horribly aligned even when I align it. When I group them together, then it kind of comes as one thing, and I can hide part of it behind the other object. I purposely kept these slightly two different colors for you guys, but normally for my students, it would be the same exact color, so they can't really tell. Which is also where I do other kind of review games. So with this, if I want them to kind of say, okay, what is the vocab word for the ability to do work? They can kind of say what they think the answer is, come up, and drag this down to the magic answer reveal box.
See, I mean, I have lessons that I pull off the internet that does that, but I've never created that on my own.
Okay, so
Oh, 'cause
what
the word's
you
white
do-
up there.
Yep. So what you do with this is, I actually have here, I type in 2 lines, the words, the text that I want to use, and I type the answer. And what I do is I can change the color of the answer to be the same color as the background.
Okay.
So when I change this to be white, now all of a sudden you can't see it.
Okay.
If I put in, kind of even if I make this one disappear, if I delete it, if I then take a box, or I can do really any shape I want, I can say it's going to be the magic, half circle hemisphere. That's the line color. I want the fill color. We'll say purple. So I have this magic hemisphere box. I bring this, oops, yeah, I have to bring this one to the front. Order, bring to front. Now all of a sudden, because this energy is the same color as the background, you don't see it.
Okay. And then
As soon
put it
as
over
you
something
move it,
else.
yeah. I should take this hemisphere, move this hemisphere, send back. So that way all of these, now the only thing is that you want to make sure, because like right now, because that energy is there, I need to, if I order send to back, then send this one, send it back. Now, because this one is behind this one, I don't see those white words. But if I move this one up, I can see that there's like those white
Okay.
words there. So sometimes you do have to play with the order a little bit. So you can have your little magic, your magic square, your magic thing that will help reveal something. You can also do it this way too. So here, this black is, I'm pretty sure it's the black or it's the green. Actually, nope, it's the green. This green is just a kind of a big box that I shape box I put on the side of the thing. And so what I can do is I have this, and I slide it over here. It changes to the answer, and what it really is 2 lines, with the first line the one color, the second line the other color.
And so you have to send the green to the back though?
No, I don't. See, so this
It
one,
doesn't matter.
this has to be on top of this.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd probably send this shape to the back. So then all of these have to be able to, because if I were to send this to the back, now when I slide this over, it disappears completely
Oh.
because it's going under the green. So I need to bring this bring to the front. Now it's going to go on top of the green.
Okay.
But you can't see this color because it's the same color as this background.
So does your 700 whatever, does that have to be brought to the front, or it doesn't matter? It'll just show?
It depends on, the newest created thing comes to the front.
So if you make the box
So if I
first-
make the box first, okay, and then I type these numbers,
Okay. And then it'll-
these will be on top of it.
Okay.
But if I type these numbers first, and then I make the box, I'm gonna have to send the box to the back.
Okay.
So it all goes in the order of how you create things.
Okay.
So this is basically using color to make things disappear and come to the front, and kids are like amazed. They are amazed by when they pull this down and all of a sudden the answer appears. They are amazed. These are like 8th graders are amazed, and so it's kind of difficult sometimes to amaze 8th graders. They're just like, whoa, how'd you do that?
Well, I didn't know how it was done either.
Okay, so I have a question there.
Yes.
Okay, so so now,
Mhm.
drag that over there. Did your outline box show up when you dragged it out over there?
Mm-mm.
Why not? Because you only touched it, you didn't
Right.
tap it, okay.
And the other thing I can do, I wonder if I lock it, what happens? Because I tend to lock, because some of my kids, so if you, I want to allow to move. Lock, allow, move.
Okay, what's the
So
difference?
now, okay, so when I lock it, a lot of times things that I don't want moving at all. I don't want the kids to be able to come up and start
Right.
changing the typing, I lock things. And so they can't move it, they can't touch it. But for something like this, and then of course that's like, for something like this where I want them to be able to move it, but I don't want that text box to change the text ever come up, I can do this allow move.
So they can't enlarge it.
So you lock it, but you allow it to
yeah.
move.
So I can't enlarge it, I can't double click and start typing, changing the text, but they can come up and move it. So I have a lot of kids, when they are moving things and they're not used to it as much, they'll like be tapping and all of a sudden like the text box appears and then
Yeah,
change.
that's what I have all the time.
So those are the things that you want to,
Move.
yep, that lock, and it's allow move in the lock screen.
I don't lock in place, I just allow it to move.
So here, let me unlock this. All right, so when I get that drop down menu and I go to that locking, you don't lock in place because that's gonna that's the stuff that I don't want moving at all.
Okay.
But this is stuff allow move. And then if you are wanting them to be able to like rotate, you can do allow move and rotate, which I guess enables them to turn it
Okay.
as well. So that's the lock and allow move. Did I answer your question? I can't remember what your question was.
I don't remember, about
But you were wondering about the text, the box
the box,
itself.
Yeah,
So that gets rid of the box.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
but yeah.
yeah.
If they're double tapping it,
You're
I guess
just
it
gonna
also
get the lock.
depends what color you're using because you can't really see it over here, but you see a faint.
But
So
all you
what
see is the
color
lock
was your
shows.
box?
Well, no, this is the normal like when you're clicking on anything,
Like your work area.
when you're kind of double clicking. So this one I didn't really
So you
lock
get the
these.
green dot, and you get all of that.
So all of that.
Oh, I see.
So this box is still, that blue is still there.
Okay.
But
Just
because
the
of this
words.
background color, you can't see it. So if I were to make this white, we'd probably see it. So if I do fill effects, white, let's see. So you still,
I still think by locking it
dims it. Yeah, it does dim it a lot. Makes it more transparent.
Yeah, so locking is the key there, okay.
All right, so this one was all using color. So I wasn't really, I mean, I had to know a little bit about order, that I wanted this first before I had these on top of. But you can do that as well with not even worrying about color, but just using the order. So if you kind of give them 3 or 4 kind of options, so which of those adjectives best describes Nathan's mouth? So if they think, it's nervous, they can bring it down to this, magic circle, and only the correct answer will show up. So nervous, not right. Okay, let's try foul. Foul stays visible, and that's all just dealing with order.
Oh, send it to front.
So what I have, yep. So what I have is that, and the way that I usually do this is I type my question, I type all my answer choices, then I make my magic circle, and then I choose the one answer. So even if I want, say, ambitious to come to the front, I take that and I say bring to front. So now this is going to go on top of that.
And everything's going to go underneath.
And everything else is going to go underneath.
Okay, so you made your circle first,
No, I made my questions first.
questions first, circle second.
Yeah, because otherwise you would have had to take all of the wrong answer choices and send them to the back.
Okay.
And this way I only had to take the correct answer and send that to the front, bring to
Okay.
front. And put it there. And actually this is on your papers too. So on the front I kind of gave you a little bit of steps of how to do the color. And then on the back I kind of walked you through a little bit how to do, and it's not going to be, it's only on the 301 track.
Okay.
I walked you through how to do the order with the send to front, send to back.
I have a question. Can I saw something somewhere talking about linking. Do I see linking on here? Or not?
Linking, probably don't, but I have,
No.
these are linked. So
Can I ask a question? Maybe you can help me quick with my
No problem.
my presentation. I made a book for book builders, is what I'm doing for the afternoon. And as a part of it, you're allowed to link, you can link things in it, which is fine as long as you have a URL number.
Mhm.
But if you make your own video, there's no URL number. Brad Hampton thought, well, maybe you could put it on YouTube and then come up with a
Yeah.
URL number. Is that the only other thing you could think of to do?
Probably.
I wouldn't want everybody to see that on YouTube.
Okay, and that's actually the thing, Brian, I just asked Brian yesterday, because now the school, as a school, we have a YouTube account linked with our Gmail.
Mhm.
And you can create your own YouTube channel. And when you upload a video, you can say whether this video is searchable or not.
That would be so nice to have for this afternoon. Oh my gosh.
So you can kind of say, if you can't search for the video, if people are not able to type in anything to search for it, it's going to be only people that you give that
Right.
URL to that are going to be able to kind of find it. Unless, someone like randomly types in that URL.
Right. Okay.
They're not going to really find it.
Well, that would have been nice to know, because I got stuff to add to my book, but I couldn't. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so that's,
I'll just tell them that is possible to do, and what it is, it's on our Moodle
yes.
Gmail.
Our Gmail, not our Moodle, ours our Gmail. And it's linked to
Okay,
our,
I never used the school, okay, we're off topic, then we'll
Okay.
get back, but I never used my school Gmail because I had a previous Gmail. What is our school one?
Your school one is your first letter of your first name with your last name at nationaltrail.us.
I forget about all of them.
And Brian sends stuff to it all the time, and I never check it.
But Brian, I think he started sending stuff both places.
Yeah.
So he'll send the same email to Gmail as well as,
Okay, so T. Johnson at nationaltrail.us.
yes. And
What's
you
our
can
login?
actually, your login is it'll be like the T. Johnson International. Well, you log in through Moodle. I think the best way to do it is
So if we're
you
logged
go,
into Moodle,
you log
can
into
just
Moodle. There's a
sign
little
in.
block. When you are
Sorry, we
That's
are
okay.
so
No,
No,
on.
that's okay. I mean, this is all learning.
so when you're logged into Moodle.
Come on, Mood.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna type it in on the. Just because you know.
But you're supposed to keep it that way.
All right, so if you scroll down
Oh,
on
here we
Moodle,
go.
here's this Google Apps.
Uh-huh.
And so when you click on the Gmail, it'll automatically take you to your Moodle
Oh.
Gmail. Now I also have my own personal one, and you can link those. I can click switch account, and it can allow me to sign in to another account. I think when I'm actually signed in to both, it'll actually kind of look at both.
Okay. Okay.
And so you can kind of see,
So it's probably our same.
but you cannot log into Gmail.
This is the phone calls.
Yep.
Sorry.
You cannot log into this Google, your school Google, without logging into Moodle first.
Okay, I see right there, YouTube service. Is that right there what I was talking about?
Yes, Brian helped me, or kind of got me started, sort of set up on that. Because if you go to more, and this even more, here's YouTube.
Wait. More.
So
and
let me go,
even
I'll go
more.
back. You go this way. So you're in your Gmail, or if you're in your docs or your calendar or whatever, if you click on this drop down menu that's more,
Okay.
and then at the very bottom it says even more.
Do you have Brainpop?
We now have Brainpop.
Who does? Does
What?
The school, it's the free one, it's not the subscription.
When did we get that?
Everyone has access to the free Brainpop.
When did that happen?
We've always had access. Every single person has access to the free Brainpop.
Like since I started working here?
No matter where you are, you have access
Oh.
to the free Brainpop.
Oh, yeah,
But that's not the that's
That's
very
not
limited.
right. That's very limited. That's not the subscription.
I think we ought to get together and ask to be able to get
they
that. I
have
think there's
really
enough
good
of us.
stuff for science.
They've got so much good stuff.
But I thought it was kind of hokey and
Oh.
elementary. Some of the ones
I
that
don't know
have-
if you'd use it for 8th grade, but
It's
we
good for
definitely use it
elementary.
6th and 7th.
I don't know about you guys, but it's
Okay.
really good for our kids. So,
Yeah, I'd say so. Then
More,
you click
even
on
more.
even more, and then down here in the media is the YouTube.
Okay.
Now, when you first click it, it has this little sign, like you're gonna get this unable to connect, and this
Uh-huh.
is what Brian and I kept getting yesterday. His actually goes straight to his account,
Okay.
but when we click sign in, it automatically takes you to, actually, okay, so here's us, and then you can go to my channel, which we just did this yesterday, so why? Oh, this is why. And this is, I didn't fully set it up because here, once you choose a name of your channel, you can never change it. So you don't want to link it to necessarily, you don't want to call it 2nd grade or whatever grade you're teaching
It's
because
always, it will never change.
you can never change it. So you need to kind of think, what is it that you want to call it. So you don't want to link it to your room number in case you change rooms. You don't want to link it to your subject in case you change subjects.
So you want to put it basically your name? Can you?
Right. So you might want to do like, NTES or NTLS because if you're going to, stay in
And can you
history.
put like Barb Bauman's YouTube channel?
Yeah, you
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, and then you can kind of go here, like to let others find my channel on YouTube if they have my email address, whether you kind of want that or not.
But otherwise, we can say no, and
You
then.
can say no.
But
And,
now, what if I had made that book
Mhm.
and I had that on there? I'd have to click that so that they would be able to get to that link, right?
No, because what you would give them is you would give them the actual URL that goes up here in the top. And so if you give them the actual URL of that video, they will be going
It'll
to that.
make a URL
yes.
when you upload it.
This is where, I don't know if I remember NTLS, oh, yep, this one's Brian's. And so he has some that are searchable and some that are not. If we actually go to his channel,
I will.
So if they kind of get to your channel, they'll be able to see all the videos. But each of these videos has their own URL at the top. So if I go to how to use a smart recorder, so I'm going to pause that so we don't hear this sound. But this whole long thing here
Is what you would link.
is what you would link. And this video is the only one that sort of has that URL, so you would actually get to, it would take you to directly to this page.
Oh, I wish I could do that for my.
But you wanted to know how to link in Smart Notebook. I have two things kind of going on here. This is sort of an outline, a guide outline that I gave my students. So one thing I have going on is I have the answers there. So I have the students kind of say what they think the pay distance is measured in what. And they can say, take the eraser and see if they have the right
Do
answer.
that again, I didn't see what you did.
So light from the sun takes blank
Oh, it was blank.
to reach Earth.
Did I miss anything?
And so
Oh.
Okay, is that only with the, with your,
Okay, I'm not gonna say
with your board?
nope.
When it costs you, $400.
So all you have to do is when you
Yeah,
have
everything's
okay.
any kind of piece of writing up here, you know how you can draw?
Yeah.
So I just I make the drawing pen white,
Oh.
and so when it's white or whatever the background color is, and I can erase white out, erase whatever I want. And so then when I have the students answer, you know, they come up and they can, you know, erase what I had whited out and see if their answers are correct.
Okay, now let's do that again. Hang on, I missed that.
Okay,
I
so
gotta see
I
that.
want on their paper, they have light from the sun takes blank to reach Earth.
Okay.
Okay, so I actually,
Ahead of time, you're going to
I have
write
it already
this out.
typed in, I have all the answers typed in there. And so I go up to my pens and I choose, and make the pen white.
I don't think I
So
have
if
a
you
white
don't have
spot
a
like
white
that.
pen, what you can do is you just kind of go to changing the color. And this is where I think Mimio might be slightly different.
But we can use that.
You can use that? Okay. So you want to change the color of your pen to white. I kind of change the size to match whatever my typing is. And then you can use that white pen to white out, you know, the answers. And so you have, and this is kind of what I do when I ever give students worksheets or anything. I usually I've scanned the worksheet or it was something I already created on Word. I put it into here and I white out all of the answers. And so when we go over it, instead of, you know, because we don't really have the overhead projector, what we used to be able to do, you know, I have it in here and I just have them, you know, Sally, you think you know the answer? What do you have? Okay, go check your answer. They can come up and.
Of course, we don't have an eraser like that.
But you can change your pen to the eraser.
Okay.
But you can change the pen to an eraser and give the pen to them and they can, you know.
And anything that you find online, or if you have in a Word doc, you can just take a screenshot of it and plug it in there to do
Yep.
the exact same thing. Because I'm too lazy to scan stuff, so.
Okay, okay.
All right, so how do you do that if you have something from online?
Yeah, do that.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of, because I don't want to mess up, because I had the other thing linked. So say,
Oh, they're in my pedometer.
okay.
I know, I already knocked mine
Those things have a
off.
life expectancy of like one fall.
Yeah.
Ah,
there we
and
go.
So
mine
let
got
me-
knocked off, darn it.
Oh, wait, did I?
I'm gonna put mine on my cat,
Oh, I
see what
have
happens.
757 stops.
I had over 1,000 already and it's been reset. Oh, there it is. I moved it. I'm at 2,000 already.
2,000?
I've been walking already this morning a lot.
So let's return to Virginia. Let's see what I can.
I'm way too bouncing around my room. I'll knock it off 100 times. Or, you know, you get to look at this. What's this? What's this?
Let
What's
me
this?
see.
What's this button do?
Okay. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just thinking, so if you wanted, say, this to be in your, on your Smart Notebook, if you are in the Smart Notebook mugs, the camera, or in your Smart Notebook, you use the camera. And so when you go to whatever is here on the screen, this first button enables you to select what you want. Of course, I didn't get all of that over there. So when I come here, I'm like, okay, I didn't kind of catch everything. So you can always delete that. That's going to give you a selection. If I want everything that's in this window right now, I can click this one, and everything that is grayed, actually not what I want to do, but everything that is grayed, I do it. And I don't know why.
I've only used the first one, I've not used the other three.
I only just recently, I rarely use the one that's in the window. I just recently did it for, to get like everything that was on the screen for my other note, my other class. My Moodle Lessons one.
Delete.
Yep, so I'm gonna go back to
But
that
does the
version.
blue one takes just what's in the white part of the screen?
Yeah, well no, because usually the blue one is the one supposed to take the whole monitor. So I don't know why this one's not registering just this window. Because it's supposed to only take what is inside the window, and that's actually what it did on Moodle when I was testing Moodle. Let's actually try. So if I want that, again, it's taking the whole window. I don't know why it's doing that, because it doesn't usually do that. But anyway, say this is what I want the picture of. So if I'm here and say this is my Word document, what I usually tend to do is, let me scroll up, put this up. I don't even want that whole thing to be, I just want to start here. I can then lock this, and I almost always, whenever I have a worksheet that I put up here, I always lock it, so now I can't move this, my students can't move it, and that's when I go, okay, now I want to weigh out that right there, I want to weigh out this right here, and so now I have that, and then if I really wanted to, I can also, if I kind of forget, okay, I can put in a line there. I can say, okay, there's something missing there if you need that. So that I can tell kids to say, okay, that's what I have.
Cool. And you just put white over it.
Yep.
Your eraser only erases pen.
Yes. Your eraser does not erase any other
Line shapes.
shapes, anything. Just the pen.
That's good enough.
But you could use the white pen and pen over it.
Yes.
And then that would be kind of like erasing it.
It could be, yes.
In the same way that
Yes.
cleaning up a table by painting over all the stuff that's on it.
Well,
Yeah.
and you can also move it, well, here, you can delete it. So the other stuff, if you don't want it, you just delete it.
Yeah.
You get rid of it, but you can't really. Okay. So the next question you guys had about linking. And so this is what I did here. These boxes, because this document here is just like one Word document, I wanted to be able to go to a link that just talked about this and just talked about this on the Word document. And so I couldn't make all of those links just to this whole entire document. So I just kind of created a little shape. And what I did was I linked that shape to another page in the this lesson. And so it actually, this one's one that kind of goes back and forth. So as we talk about the Milky Way galaxy, I can click there. It'll take me to,
They're all saved in that same.
and this is, yes, this is in this document. But I can link it to web files, like, or the internet, and I've done that. Let's see. I've linked it to, those are the main two things. I've linked it to the internet, and I've linked it to other pages. You can link it to other documents on your paper. If you want to click on this, it'll open a Word document. Most of the time, I actually just copy and paste that Word document into, or kind of take a picture of the Word document and put it in here, just so it's all here. So that way, if I have a student that wants to see it online, you know, they're not going to be able to have that link to whatever documents are on the computer,
Right.
but they'll have it to the internet. So the way you link something, I actually have, so let's see if I can.
So you have you found you use the screenshot more than you used to? Like
The camera.
Yeah.
I use the camera all the time. I use the camera to harvest, appropriate, steal, but you know, like almost anything I can find. So when I do when I do my sub-lesson plans, I take little pictures of the buttons on here they have to do, and I put that into the, now click this button, now click this button, you know, into the lesson plans. I use it to take things that I like on the internet.
Now, a picture of your kid that somebody has.
I use it to, in all honesty, like when I'm, you know, like if I have a paper test, or I find, you know, like there's like all the past OAA tests on the internet, you know, I can take a picture of those graphs, those images, and I use that camera tool to get them, put them in a smart notebook, which I can then paste them into Word, or I can paste them, I can then save them and then put them up into Moodle. If it's a test from, you know, one of those books that they send you with practice things that, you know, have something that's sort of like blacked out at the bottom of the page, I don't really know what it says. You know, I can take, you know, I can scan that page, and then I can use the camera to take those pictures of things that I want to put in, either to keep in Smart Notebook, or then to put them into a Word document, or put them up on Moodle.
Heidi's better with Word than I am, but sometimes I find it easier just to actually, if like something you normally do in a Word doc, sometimes I find it easier just to build it in the Smart Notebook software. Yeah, especially if you're like stealing a lot of stuff.
Harvesting, appropriating.
Yeah, I mean, it just, it's so much more flexible than Word.
Yeah.
I don't, Word is not flexible at all.
So when you want to link something, when you select on it, there's this link in that triangle drop down. So if you click link, you can choose a web page, a page in this file, a file on this computer, and then you can also choose whether you want it to, you have to touch the little corner icon or you touch the whole object. Because I have a lot of issue with keeping my board aligned, I always almost make it the whole object. And so, I mean, I can make this to be, even just go to, actually, let's do this page. So click that. So that means when someone clicks that object, it's going to take you to that page in the file.
Where did you get the link? Where was the link button?
So,
Sorry.
that's okay, no problem. Let me go find another thing that has, okay. So on here, in that triangle drop down box, you have link.
Okay.
This is also where you can do sound. You can attach a sound to it, so when you click on it, it makes a sound. When you do link, put it to a web page. So say I want this to go to Moodle, just because I know that website without having to look up something else. And you can copy and paste in there too. So I'm going to leave it as corner icon so you can see what that looks like. So there you'll get, if you leave it as corner icon, you've got this little tiny earth that you have to click on, which will then take you to that website. And again, as I said, I have a hard time clicking on just that little, or once you have a link though, if you were to like normally tap on that word, actually not a tap on the word, it'll be fine. But if you have it as the object, if you're going to tap on it, it's going to take you to that website. So it makes it harder to edit. So like if you're like, okay, I need to edit this word nervous. But the problem is now every time I tap it, it's going to take me to that website, because usually I can just tap it or double tap it and it'll open up the text box. Now I have that issue. I'm like, okay, how do I, you know, like, crud. So this is where you have to do the right click. And I don't really know, I think on a Mimio, I don't know how you do that little right click, but I'm sure there's...
I don't think we have a, do we have a right click?
You probably have a right click button. Like not necessarily, like we have this right click button here, there's probably a...
Probably, there's two buttons on that thing and...
I don't use them.
Or on
It's
the...
left.
So I'm not sure if it's on the pen.
It might be.
I don't think it's
Or
on
on
the
the
pen,
panel.
but I think it's on the panel. One of those buttons might be like a right click.
Okay.
Or you might have to, that might have to be something that you do on the computer. But when you right click it, that's when you can then go to properties. When you right click it, once it's in that right click menu, you can double tap it to then change it. But as soon as you're out of that, it's going to take you back to the normal one tap link.
You know, that's interesting because there's so much on, even the pen, I have no idea what to do with. I don't know how to work my pen, besides going like that. I don't, all the buttons on the bar, except for...
In all honesty, if you're not going to Kendra's, then, which is, I know that's kind of one of the things that she was going to go, because she's actually going into the Moodle basics, how to, or not, the Mimio basics, and how to probably, like, you know, change your pen, because you can actually change what those buttons do and what the...
I mean, I know a lot, but there's probably basics I've missed.
Right. I think that's pretty much what she's kind of doing. I know that she's going over a lot of the stuff that is in the toolbox and how to kind of get different things and what different things do. All right, so I don't know if you guys want to come up and try some of this stuff. The other thing that is there that I didn't show, this is a balloon pop that I have. And this is coming from the gallery. And there's this lesson activity toolbox.
You know, I don't know how to use that gallery.
Yeah, I have a hard time using things in the gallery too.
Okay. Meaning finding stuff you like, or?
Like, if you find something you like and then altering it to fit you, I think it's hard.
Yeah, you can't really alter.
So it's either there or you didn't use it.
You can't really alter the pictures too much from what's there. The interactive stuff is the stuff that you can kind of do a little bit, you know, it's a little more like, which is what these balloons are, in which.
Okay, so how would you change that to make it your own?
Okay, so you have your, and this is where it's kind of like frozen right now, because it's not going on to, there we go, that's what's actually there, it's a little slow. Probably because of everything else that I have in this file. But the way that you do this is kind of, you have a question. I used this to make my, you know, like my images, so my checkbox. I said, okay, let's have my checkbox filled in green, which I did with this fill tool. So I said, okay, I'm going to have that checkbox a solid fill green. And so when I make my check mark, and then I typed in my word. After I had that, I put a balloon. So I go to my lesson activity toolkit, and in this interactive and multimedia, one of the first things you see is this balloon pop. So I just pull a balloon over. Every balloon I pull over, it's a random color generation. So, you know, if you're like me and sometimes you have issues with, I don't want those two colors, then you have to like pop, let me get back to there. Then you just have to like pop it and get a new, just pull a new balloon over. So people who don't care, don't have those anal color issues, this could be sometimes easier. But on the balloon, let me kind of move this over if I can. On the balloon, there's two bottom things. The one side is going to let you resize the balloons. You can make them as big or as little as you want. The other side with the little arrows, and it lets you edit. So you can kind of type in what's going to say on the balloon. Unfortunately, you can't change the size of that. So I want the...
You can, you just have to stand closer to
to say this. Which is why, in all honesty, I would probably like these words larger on these balloons, but I can't. So when you're done with that, you click that little triangle thing again, and now your balloon says what you want it to say. And you can move it around to be over top of any of those, you know, check marks. So when they pop it, they see what is underneath. And usually it does not go this slow. But I think because I have so many interactive things saved in this one file, that's what starts bogging it down. And I've had students do this, and they do like to pop the balloons. So what I usually do is, for something that is not, let's say, like zoomed, okay, is it or isn't it? And they can say yes or no, and then you pop it and see if they're right. Because if they only get to pop the ones that they think are, and there's those other balloons left over there, and people want to pop things just because they like that. This is another one that this is already kind of like the vortex is set up there. And if it's wrong, it kicks it back out. But if the answer is correct, it goes down into it. You can have those vortex spinning, which I think look kind of cooler now. I like when they're spinning. And so if you put something down in there, it works. But otherwise, if it's wrong, it pops it back out.
So how do we edit that stuff?
So how do you edit that? So this one kind of pulls in here. Here's what you do. You can say, here's where the labels are. So say I want this one to be, I don't know, living and non-living. So I'm going to say that one will be living, this one will be non-living. I think that should be hyphenated. Okay, and so now here I want, and it doesn't matter even though this whole side says living, and I can change it, and this whole side says non-living, it mixes everything up. So I can say cat, dog, Sally, fish, and giraffe. This side I can say rock, house, ice cream.
Okay, those first two are the first two things I thought you would type in. Rock and then house.
Okay, and so and you can have as many, they have up to 16 here. You can't really add more than that. Then you just kind of click OK. And this is something that you can have, right now it's locked, unlock, and I can slide it up just a little bit. So I can see all those words. Like I said, I just always tend to lock things. So as you can see, there's only 8 words there right now, but as I say, okay, rock is non-living, there's the other. So but once I do that one, okay, flag's not living, then there's that. So you can kind of have kids come up and choose one and have them put it in the category that they think it goes to. There's a few others that there's like a crossword, and almost all of them have this edit button. And if you choose one that's already set up, you can kind of go, okay, this one said odd and even up there, so I'm like, okay, those are probably where those go. And some of them are kind of fairly intuitive as to how to set it up, but
We've played them. I've never been able to create them.
so this is, as I said, if you just go to the Lesson Activity Toolkit, and then I would check out 2 different, because you have your pictures, your interactive and multimedia, and your notebook file and pages. If you go to the notebook file and pages, there's a balloon pop that's already set up. I think that's difficult to change. I think it's much easier to just start from scratch and create your own balloon pop, which is in that first one. But I believe the vortexes, as you kind of, if it's not here, okay, maybe it's not in, because,
Oh, there it is.
was it down there?
Yep, there.
Okay, so this one's an image one, this one's a word sort one. And so these ones, I think with them being already set up, they're a little bit easier to do. Also there is kind of like a matching pairs. And so in this one, it's kind of like similar. Okay, so those match. But if I go like that, okay, those don't match. So if you click them again, it goes, hides back up. So there's a lot of stuff in this lesson activity toolkit that you can use as is, maybe, but like the odd even you can then change, and certain things are easier to change, make your own. I think, is this the, okay, so this is a hangman one, and you can edit it by saying, okay, here's the word, actually no, here are the words, here are clues. Let's actually just play this one and let's see what, so if we do, I'm sorry, I haven't actually tried this one yet.
That's all right.
That's by a letter, that's a miss. So how do we?
Click on it.
There we go, well that's, okay, so I guess soccer is the image that I want there. I don't know what, where's the clue? Oh, here we go, an angle at 90 degrees. So if you have an angle at 90 degrees is going to be,
R.
yep. So, and that's where, and that's the sense. Sometimes I have to play them and go, okay, now that I've played it, this makes sense to me, and that here are the words I'm looking for, here are the clues. This is now going to be, we can do a basketball, a tomato splat, a soccer kind of setup. And so now that I kind of, all right, I played it now, I have an idea of what it actually is doing, and I know now how to set it up.
So can you change those? Can you change?
Yep, so this I can say,
Okay, you don't have to do it.
yeah.
I just wondered if it was changeable.
Yep, so you can change those. And a lot of times then, so say you change it, and you're like, okay, I want to keep this. Now, as I had changed it, I probably can, and this is where I'm not used to saving gallery item of just this image, but I can do the whole page. So I say, I really like this page and what I just created on it, whether it is sometimes, I've created things where I have infinite corners, like obviously I kind of keep it pure, and I've actually drawn and used shapes to build something, and it's very rare that I have the time to do that, but when I do, I definitely say that. So I can go add page to gallery. So I really like this page, I want to make sure I keep it. It's going to go add page to gallery, and then in the notebook is now there's a page, May 20th, or sorry, what did I say, May 20th? Maybe I just added that.
So does that add it just to your gallery?
Yes, it adds it just to my gallery. So there are other things that, that's actually not all of mine. I think I lost some of my gallery. I think some of mine at home. There's some other pages. But where I've actually saved that one page. And so now, if I close this up, if I'm doing something next week and I want to add that page, if I go into the My Content and in the pages, I'm like, okay, there it is. We're gonna try this. You know, both have one again. So, all right. I am now stepping away from this, and you guys are going to try something, either the ordering the color or question answer with anything, or choosing something from the lesson activity toolkit. But any of that stuff, it is now your turn to try.
Have you ever found like a dice that you can change the things on the sides?
I believe there is one in the toolkit. You can actually put your own stuff on each of the sides. I am going to